I think it is pretty common for bow hunters to go into each archery season with high hopes of connecting with the trophy buck. We dream about that mystery buck just showing up and strolling by our stand at 20 yards. Or we hope a deer from the previous year shows up and has exploded into a giant. But sometimes that's all it amounts to, hopes and dreams. But every once in a while, the right buck beats the odds and becomes one of those giants that keeps bow hunters up at night. This is a story of one of those deer. Captain Hook slid onto the scene in 2022 with little fanfare as a young deer, but we saw potential like we often do with young bucks. When he showed back up in 2023, he really got our attention as a deer with true genetic potential. As good as he looked, we elected to not pursue him and give him one more year. We rolled the dice in hopes he would survive. We kept busy pursuing other target bucks, but Hook always stayed in the back of our minds, and it was a relief to see he was still alive every time he hit a camera. As the season trickled on, he seemed to really settle in and become a regular on the property, with multiple camera captures each week. The season came to an end. Hook had beat the odds that most bucks don't. He had survived, and he gave us hope for his return the following fall. As October of 2024 neared, Hook was continually on our mind as a deer we hoped would return, and the anticipation was high on what he might look like. When he returned to his old haunt in early October and graced the cameras for the first time, he had exceeded all our expectations. He quickly settled right back into his stomping grounds from the previous year, and for the month of October he seemingly lived on about 60 acres. It was an incredible experience to be in the home range of an animal of that caliber. This is the hunt for Captain Hook. Getting everything loaded up. Got a real big deer in there on our clover. He was in there last night and again this morning. Was pretty comfortable in there, and know he's close. I don't know if he will come back out, but man, got to make a play on him. So really big deer, a deer we had history with last year that we opted to kind of let go. So hopefully we can just get some eyes on him. I'm gonna get in there and get set up. Kind of wanted to do this out here because I feel like he's real close, so I don't want to be making a bunch of noise and gomming around. So hopefully gonna slip in there and make a play on him. Well, I didn't get to close out in the tree, and I just had deer all over me most of the night. And that great big old buck was the one that I was talking about that we're kind of on. And he did come out, got to see him. Really cool hunt. Just be able to watch him. He was shadowing a doe all night, and never really gave any kind of shot opportunity. Probably stayed at 70 yards the whole time, but uh, really cool to see that deer. So hopefully we can stay on him. There are several people kind of hunting that farm, so I'll just take my chances when I can. Just kind of move in and out. Probably just watch him. He's been hitting the cell cams, and just pick my wins and pick the weather, and hopefully be able to make a move on him again. But just super cool to see him, and oh man, just kind of a maybe like a once in a lifetime type deer, and to get to watch him for that long and feeding on clover just was just really cool. All right, back in here again on that property with the big deer that I videoed the other night. I had pictures of him this morning going away from this area that I'm in right now. So, I mean, he's not far away, but it looked like he was going the opposite way. Obviously, he could circle back around, but it appeared that he was going maybe back to bed. So, yeah, I just got settled in for the morning. I'm in here after that buck I had a encounter with probably a week and a half ago. I'm still being pretty conservative with my stand choices. Just on the edges. I had him here on camera not that long ago. So hopefully he'll make the same little path through here that he did. I had him actually quite a bit last year, right up in this area. And I think it was 2 years ago I videoed him up here. I doubt I still have that video. He wasn't a buck that was really on the radar at the time, but I'm gonna get quiet. Hopefully we can lay eyes on him this morning. Real nice, cool night. So hopefully it'll get some deer on their feet and moving around.
once, and then I'm probably gonna climb down. That buck that I was after in here, he's hit a couple cameras today. None of them real close. Last camera he hit, he was somewhat pointed in this direction. It might be a stretch saying that, but he was not going the opposite direction. How about we'll say that? I just saw a couple does, doe and a fawn. I'm probably gonna slip out of here and come up with a game plan for tonight. I have a couple options on where I can sit to hopefully be somewhere in the game with him. I'm not quite sure where he would have ended up, but I have a general idea. So, I'm gonna stay on him. It's kind of fun when you got a target like that you can, continue to make a game plan and kind of try to make strategic moves. Alright, set back up for the afternoon, evening hunt. I kind of shifted on this farm where I'm hunting that bigger buck that I've been after several times. He hit cameras, 3 different cameras this morning, 2 in daylight. And I would guess that I am pretty close to him right now. Kind of depends on which way he bedded, but I'm guessing that last picture I had of him, he was very close to hitting his bed. And I could be within 100 yards or so. So I had real nice wind to cover my noise as far as getting in this afternoon. But it has warmed up considerably. So I don't really expect great movement. I'm going to have to be super close to him to lay eyes on him. Still kind of a safe play of where I went. I didn't dive in there deep on him, so still just on the edge. So we'll sit back, got in there plenty early. Last year he actually was right on this roadway a lot late in the season, a few times early, but when it got to December and January, he was really sucked in here. So this is an area that he's somewhat comfortable with. I got a little hanging vine down there. Sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't, but it'd be sweet if he could come hit that, because that'd give me a nice chip shot. Hopefully I wouldn't flub that up, but we will sit back and enjoy the evening. Hopefully we can lay eyes on him. in for a little bit. I've already seen a couple deer, so that's a good sign with early movement. Back hunting Hook. That big deer that I videoed, probably 2 weeks ago now. I think we're October 31st right now. So he actually just hit a camera about 30 minutes ago. I'm probably not in the game on him. I mean, he could make it up here plenty early enough, but man, he's been sucked into one little bottom area, so I don't know that I would anticipate him getting up here, but this is a food plot he was on a lot last year, so you never know. He could make his way up here. It's that time of year, so we still got a decent amount of time left, and we'll sit and see what happens. See what comes out to this food plot. My first time in this plot this year. Did okay with how dry it was. So wait and see. All right. I've been settled in here for a few minutes. First day of November. And still after Hook. He's been in this brushy bottom. I think he's been with a doe for a while. It's just speculation, but he seemed to be sucked into this brushy bottom, which I've seen bucks do before in the past. But I had a picture of him last night, and I just had a picture of him to my north, and it looks like he's making his big loop. So, just a little bit behind him again. I was hesitant to come into this stand because I had a feeling he was getting legs again and he was walking again, as opposed to being holed up here in this bottom. But I've only had pictures of him for 4 or 5 days in this one spot, so I had the right wind and I dove in, but he's up and moving again, so making his rounds. I'm not out of the game. He did this earlier this week, where he hit that same camera, and then he ended up right back down here in this bottom. So the old cat and mouse game will continue. Really nice, cool morning. We've had just some really warm weather with that southerly wind that really had deer movement subdued. So I expect we'll see a few deer up and going this morning on their feet. I think it may take a little bit to get them, a little bit later in the morning. I feel like we'll see some bucks walking. So over a little food plot this morning for as dry as it was, it turned out decent enough. So I'm right here on this bench in this corner where these deer walk this roadway. So let's hope he makes his big loop and comes by me. But if not, we'll just keep on staying on him. We still got time before things start getting real wacky and wild. But it'd be nice to lay eyes on him again. Well, I just messed that up. That was the deer that I was in here trying to hunt. I'm not sure what happened if I just pulled the shot. But I hit him, but that ain't gonna kill him. That's a bummer deal there, man. He walked right down that chute, and he got a little bit nervous. I just messed that up. You don't get many opportunities like that. All right, just breaking light on November 2nd. And the pursuit of Hook continues. I had to. Oh my God. Like a coon climbing up a tree. I had that errant shot yesterday. And was able to see that I hit him in the neck. My arrow, for whatever reason, did not fly correctly. I don't know. I shot my bow yesterday and it seemed to be fine. So I don't know if I had a stick in the whisker biscuit or what. But regardless, I'm back on it. And we did get a picture of him last night. So he came out of the woods that I tracked him in. So you could see the he's up and moving and still operating like normal. So I'm perched on a bluff this morning right above where he's been just wearing out a creek bottom. I don't have any pictures of him up here on top. But I'm just giving this a try. Wind works good for this spot, and I almost kind of hated to dive back in right where I shot him. In my mind, I thought maybe he would avoid that area slightly and push to a different run, but we'll see. He could be off the farm totally right now, so still on it. Gonna probably stay on it. It's tough to walk away from a deer that big and hunt other bucks. I do have other bucks that I would be happy to shoot, but just tough to walk away from him. So it might be my November, just trying to catch back up with him, and I think I'm okay with that. So we'll get quiet, enjoy the morning. Nice and cool. I expect to see a little bit of movement here in a little bit. Just getting settling in again for the morning. I just had a doe group work through. Back to the well, trying to get another run in with this buck that I've been after. It's not my preferred method of hunting. I really like jumping around to different properties, but the other mature bucks that I would potentially shoot on other properties are nowhere near the same antler size, so kind of trying to go all in is kind of a, I don't know, I guess you'd call it like a once in a lifetime deer maybe. So I will continue after him. I almost get the sense that he has moved off this farm. This may be a total fallacy, but I think you can kind of have a general idea what's going on the farm just by camera action. You know, if there's a frenzy of activity, you know, there's something going on there enough to make bucks want to be there. And when cameras kind of slow down, you know, who knows what that may be from. You know, it's just not quite as appealing to hunt properties that the cameras are kind of dead, and that's where we're at on this property. So I don't know if there's any truth to that or not, but I've kind of seen that when you get cameras spread out on several different properties, you can kind of see that the temperature rises and falls on different pieces at different times. So right now, this one is not hot in my estimation. So we'll still sit it. We'll see what happens. Enjoy the morning. And who knows, maybe I'll be in all day. We'll just play it by ear. All right, been in the stand for, about an hour or so. Not much action yet. Back in this bluff pinch where I've had a couple decent hunts. Not seen anything real nice, but deer right in your face. It's fun when they're here because you can see them blink and everything. It's kind of nice. But back on the Hook property, he has been missing on cameras for quite a while now, and I can only assume he's just locked down with the doe or just off the property probably, which is somewhat consistent with his behavior last year and really any other mature bucks that I've been getting on camera. They pretty much dropped off. You know, you just get like one cruising through here and there every once in a while, but not like it was a week and a half ago. So it will be a game of persistence now, and you know, not nearly as optimistic to see that deer when I'm pretty sure he's not even on the property. You know, you're just kind of banking on him dropping a doe and making a big loop, and you know, you being in that spot that he loops through. So, you know, statistically not great, but it is what it is. That's just the point of where we're at in November. It feels like it's maybe a couple days sooner than normal, but you know, probably not in all reality. You just got to find that hot pocket. It's been slow 2 or 3 days now for what I've seen. So just kind of keep plugging away. Already had a couple deer get chased through. Couldn't tell what they were. But back on the Hook farm, it has been really slow. I'm not seeing much on cameras or even in my sits, so kind of waiting for the bucks to break loose again. And there was an explosion of activity last night on a couple different farms. I hadn't had pictures of Hook for almost a week or so. He ran right through here where I'm at, but I could tell he was going full bore. And there must have been a hot doe. I think every single buck on this farm and a couple that I've never seen were on camera going one direction. So must have been chaos last night. So one of the cooler mornings that we've had so far. So I expect some better movement, but man, those bucks could have already grabbed that doe, and ain't no telling where they ended up. But we'll sit back, enjoy the morning. It's encouraging to see a little bit more buck movement. I think I had mature bucks on 3 different farms that were up and going, working scrapes again. So, but I know it's just going to be short-lived. As soon as they find another doe, they'll be hunkered back down. So just gotta play the waiting game in the tree. All right. Well, I've had time to kind of settle down. I didn't even do an intro this morning, but back on that hook farm this morning. Still been getting pictures of him. It has been slow. Hunts have been slow, but I figured he was still in here close. And just going to stay persistent with trying to get close to where he's been. And he worked up this fence line this morning, crossed the fence, gave me a 20-yard shot. So I've had time to settle down. I should have got him. I mean, I'm pretty sure I got him. Shot looked good and everything, so I'm just going to give it some time. Relax and maybe give him several hours before I go track. No point in pushing it. So, man, what a deer. What a hunt. I had a lot of uneventful hunts. Just trying to stay on that deer, but it was just like one of those things where I felt like just keep on trying to be persistent and kind of a game of numbers, really. You just put yourself in the position enough, maybe you'll get an opportunity. Oh, what a hunt. God is good. God's good even when you miss, but God blessed me this morning. Hopefully I can lay my hands on him soon enough.
Whitetail, the story of Captain Hook has finally kind of come to an end. This is a deer that really has had most of our attention for really the last month or so, maybe more than that. I think he showed back up in mid-October. It was a deer that we had history with last year. We all kind of made a group decision to pass him, although no one really had an opportunity last year. We thought he was just maybe a little bit young and wanted to see what he would turn into, and really did blow up. We still don't think he's that old of a deer, but at some point in time you got to make a decision on when you're going to try to harvest him. So this is the buck that I had an opportunity at on November 1st and had a weird kind of mishap with an arrow, and arrow hit him in the side of the neck and didn't seem to faze him really too much. Had pictures of him immediately after, and then for several days after, probably early November, and then he disappeared off cameras. And in the last 3 days he showed back up, and you could just tell he was running through, just probably looking for another available doe. He has busted himself up quite a bit since seeing him in early October and then having that shot at him in November. But I mean, what a world-class deer to be able to hunt, and several people knew about him, as you would expect in a neighborhood in the Midwest. Lots of other people were after him, and it just sometimes just a matter of right place, right time. It just blessed with a great opportunity to take him this morning, and super pumped. What a great deer. Fun story to be able to chase him, go after him, and kind of makes it exciting, checking your cell cams every day, and when's he going to show up, where's he going to be, and the chess match has finally come to an end.